Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Disgaea PC. This is the 2016 re-release of a PlayStation 2 Japanese RPG called Disgaea 1 that came out in 2003. So this is my first foray really in dipping my toe in doing Japanese RPGs, which are notorious for being two things. One, Japanese, and two, RPGs. What do I mean by it being Japanese? Well, this is a game where its setting and characters seem to come from hell, but it's anime-esque characters, and being anime-esque characters, they seem to be in some form of lewd undress, so there's a little bit more skin showing, a little bit fancier high fashion in the characters. It probably also has a lot of Japanese sentimentality around comedy and adult content and lewd situations. RPGs are typically role playing games, and in general, RPG elements have been watered down to the point where there actually isn't a lot to say about them since they are in almost every game. But a pure RPG is most notorious for taking forever. So I'm going to try to move as fast through a game like this. This is not the type of game, an RPG, for a YouTube video game critic who likes to play a lot of different games. It's not the type of game to try and get 100% completion, or perhaps even a 200% or more completion, as getting all kinds of collectibles, grinding out things such as that. It is very possible I may play only the first game in a series of RPGs. So in this case, there's 5 Disgaea games out there, so I might only play the first one and find out, all right, I've had enough of that. That's where the Final Fantasy element certainly comes in, is you could play Final Fantasy 13. That doesn't inherently mean you need to play Final Fantasy 14 or 15, 14 being an MMO. On top of that, you could certainly make an argument with any Japanese RPG. Do you want to go into the Final Fantasy question? Because the Final Fantasy games themselves have a very unique art style to them and kind of stand out as their own separate thing. So that will be another comparison we'll want to do here. We have this in wide full screen mode, and I think that's probably as best as we can get, because this would have been a 4:3 ratio. Vertical sync for me and for recording doesn't need to be on. We have a new user interface, and if we turn that to old, you can see the level of resolution that the old graphics certainly would have been at. Very blurry and not in what you would call a standard color scale compared to modern day. What we have managed to do over the years, kind of in the background, and very few people know that, is we've increased the darkness of black colors and dark colors and dark black and white colors, and we've increased the brightness and the whiteness of white colors. So there's a much wider color gamut nowadays than before. So what now looks like a pale brown would have been the closest to white as far as a signal that you could have sent on a PS2, I'm sure. There are some options here, a lot of options that don't get explained to somebody who's never played the game before. Character filter A, B off. Map textures new or old. In-screen blur I'm going to have off. Shadows should be at normal or high. Why not? I have enough graphics for this depth of field. We'll leave on the map screen until we play with that later. The super sampling will be on, and then changing the map textures to a different way. I don't think we need to do anything like that. A lot of options here. And then you have like a cursor mode here that probably means do you press the A button or the B button to move the dialogue, which I imagine there's a decent amount of dialogue here. There's a key mode that probably is different layouts for controllers. Background music, message music, maybe. I don't know what MSG actually would stand for. Sound effects would be SE. Message volume is what it says. Oh, that is message. Then there's something labeled friendly effect, enemy effect, then voice in English. Almost certainly we will switch over to Japanese at some point. Mouse controls work, but I'm using an Xbox One controller, and for an RPG in particular where it's a game where you're going to potentially sit back and grind a little bit more, I imagine you do want gamepad support. 2003, playing a game from 2003 originally in 2020 is still a 17-year-old game, so I am going very far in the past to start this series, whereas I don't think I'd be willing to go that far into the past to play other RPG series. And there certainly are some series out there that want you to know the events of those previous games, but don't actually want you to go back and play those old games. The Tales of series, for instance, has like 3 games before you get to the Tales of Cold Steel series, and you kind of need to know the events, from what I hear, of those 3 games, but only 2 of them have even been translated to English and brought over to the West, so there's no real way to do that. There is also a possibility that a JRPG really doesn't need to have had the player play the previous games anyways, and they might be just fresh restarts of that. The Neptunia series is fairly bad at that, in the sense that they have 2 or 3 times relaunched, remastered, and resold the exact same game. And I believe the Neptunia series might also be owned by Nippon Ichi Software, or Japanese One Software, or NIS, as it's known more simply. And since I didn't really look into the history anymore on this game, I think we can just start. I know it's very popular. I know it's a JRPG. I know it's a little bit more anime and weird, and I like that typically. So let's hit start and go.
King Krichevskoy, the mighty ruler of the Netherworld.
I turned the audio pretty low. I think I might need to turn the message a little bit louder, though, compared to the music. High chance of copyright content IDs on these videos.
And thus began the age of turbulence and anarchy. 2 years later.
This is your standard hell Japanese fighting tournament concept. There's a cell phone game I play that basically goes on that same concept also. It's important to point out here, hell and demons to Japanese people mean something very different. There's very few Japanese people that know anything more than a surface level understanding with Christianity. They have their own Shinto and Buddhist traditions and myths, and so they have demons called Oni that are much more specific and much more kind of just funny ghost story characters, in which artists are free to use in their own stories. The core of it is you make a demon because you want it to be super powerful and super cool looking. You set it in hell because you want the environment to be dark and broody and goth, as it were. But there's almost never a Lucifer style character. There might be a character named Lucifer in a game, but he tends to never really be a mustache twirling bad guy out to capture the souls of humans and have them burn in flaming pits for all of eternity. I imagine we won't hear much about that at all. So apparently we're going to be playing as a prince. Being the Prince of Hell, it means you're super powerful and you're super cool in the minds of stories. Here you can see in his vampire-esque coffin, there are bullet holes on the top of it, and there's a gun in the background, and a ball and chain that's giant, and a drill. And here we have a probably succubus character, and here's where I mean the Japanese slightly lewd outfit in which she's wearing kind of a tube top and a skirt and high thigh-high boots. She seems to have a tail. Now, for PlayStation 2 graphics, which is what you're probably seeing in the background that have just been slightly scaled up, you're not going to see much detail there. But then we have the new interface installed in the lower bottom part. I'm actually surprised this isn't 4:3 ratio. I would have thought it would have been, but whatever. I imagine the flame effects here have been redone too. But yeah, in the lower left-hand corner, you see a much more modern anime depiction of the same character, and you can see a big difference there in just like the level of detail. The eye color is brighter, the hair color is brighter. You can see her little choker necklace and her background, her little devil wings.
Well, if that's the case, there's only one thing left to do.
It seems like we're going with comedy.
What fool dares awaken me, the great Laharl?
Laharl. Interesting name. You can see his depiction is purple hair with a red bandana, and he's shirtless too. And I have to always applaud when there is equal opportunity lewd gazes going on from the traditional heterosexual male and female perspective. Of course, this is the Japanese heterosexual female lewd gaze perspective, in which they like, and they tend to like younger looking, more skinny male characters compared to giant muscly characters. I feel like the story,
I'm glad you're still alive.
she was gonna shoot him, although maybe that's not a deadly gun. Also, I just noticed that the candlesticks are knocked over. It'll be questionable how much story is really in the game. If there's a lot, which there is a very good chance there is, then we probably need something to press A to move the story forward. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and make a comment after every sentence.
Who said I was dead? I was just taking a nap.
You can tell by at least the English voice acting that the English voice actors wanted Laharl to be this young, childish prince-like character. Perhaps that is direct direction from the Japanese original creators, or perhaps that's an artistic take.
Anyways, why are all those weapons behind you? Well, I was having a hard time waking you up.
So she used all those weapons to try and wake you up.
Are you sure you weren't trying to kill me instead?
Which, yeah, this does seem like a world where if you kill the king, you become the king.
Oh, I mean, yes. I just wanted to wake you up. Whatever. So, what is it? You better have a good reason for waking me up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have a Japanese dialogue which they've said the word "wake you up" like one or two times too often. You're going into circular conversations.
Father,
King
King Krichevskoy, has died.
Krichevskoy. I feel like in Japanese that would have not been King Krichevskoy.
He what? When?
And I guess the idea is he was the king of hell, but he's not like Lucifer or anything like that. 2 years ago, your father died.
Wait a second. So, you're telling me that I've been sleeping for over 2 years?
So, interesting. That moves the story forward instead of just putting the death of the king immediately as a story. It leaves them the opportunity to do a prequel, and it skips over immediate
Why didn't you
chaos.
wake me up earlier? Excuse me, but what do you think I've been doing all this time?
So yeah, pretty funny.
The
2
Netherworld
years.
has gone to hell while you were sleeping.
2 years she's been trying to wake him up.
It's not my fault if some other demon steals the title of Overlord.
Hmm.
What? Have they forgotten whose title
Hmm.
they're trying to steal? How bold of them! I shall show no mercy, for I am Laharl, the rightful heir to the throne.
So far from what we've seen, this does definitely feel like an RPG that probably is targeted to 12 to 14-year-olds in Japan. Like, I imagine the series could have aged over the years with the audience, but
Humble vassal Etna will
this does not for a second feel like it's trying to be particularly edgy like a Final Fantasy game. Etna joined the party. Episode 1, Prince of the Netherworld.
Episode 1, Prince of the Netherworld.
So yeah, that wasn't too much setup before it put us in the game. But oddly, the start button and nothing. Cool looking drill. A just triggers on this. Like the back button and the start button are not doing anything. Not a single round left. Nice sword, but it's chipped. Lovely Morning Star. That's what those are called. New ally joined your party. Can we pause now? So we're, I think, locked into it. There's a switch. Will you press it? No, not yet. Looks like we're gonna have some fights. Sure. What did that switch do? Well, I can see some pretty bad screen tearing, so vertical sync might be necessary in this case. Here we have something called Manti, which is level 369. And I'm sure I'm just level 1. Goldak level 343. And Draddy level 311. So we might be going with a bit of a Pokemon idea. Oh well, it looks like I've wasted my time digging that grave for you. I'll put you in the grave instead. Interesting, so you just talk to these guys. It's just like you, Prince, taking a 2-year nap. I only planned for napping for about 10 days. Something's not right. All the royal vassals left the castle shortly after the king died. Even with me still around, while you were sleeping, they must have forgotten about you. So he's lost his... Did I not hit the switch? I did hit the switch. But I can't press any buttons or do anything. So whatever that switch did doesn't seem to be super obvious. So it seems like we're not immediately going to run into a fight. Instead, we're going to talk to people in the castle and then move forward. Go to the music shop. Under construction, please come back later. I guess maybe we'll come to this whole level as a hub world. Good morning, Prince. How are you feeling? Couldn't be worse. My body feels really stiff from sleeping too much. Why don't you warm up on the tutorial map? Go see the Dimensional Gatekeeper and she'll send you there. I feel a breeze, dude. This castle is getting old. All these penguins say dude. They pretty well become the mascots of the Disgaea series and are animated a little bit better than the way that's being depicted. But let's see. Just gonna hit. Interesting. So it's the Y button that seems to do that. I'm gonna have to do something like that and that, probably. And then I'm gonna have to turn up the audio. Otherwise. And then what do we want to change? No. Oh, so you can see what the old map texture looked like compared to the new one. So all the map textures have been changed. And then shadows probably won't change. Screen edge blur blurs the edges of the screens, which I don't know why you'd want that. Depth of field on the map seems to do nothing. Map textures. Normal map off is a little less polished in the lighting effect. And then vertical sync I'm going to turn on, which normally I don't do that. Alright, let's see what our status is. Laharl, Etna, and Plenaire are all level 1. We haven't even seen Plenaire. Here we can see there's a massive amount of stuff, and I'm going to probably try to completely ignore all of that. And we've got 3 mint gum items. So we can just create a save game. And that's apparently the easiest way to get out of that menu. Okay. Let me try and turn up the audio. There we go. That should be good enough for the moment. Let me move the mouse cursor now. That's probably a depth of field effect. Tutorial items can be purchased at the Rosenqueen Netherworld branch. Each character can equip up to 4 items. A character can equip 1 item and 3 other items such as armor. Now, do you always buy items in a game like this, or do you get those as drops? Because that will significantly change how you probably should play a game. And usually you do get some level of at least cheap item drops, but often you get very good items through drops and very bad items from the storefront. Seems like we have some elfish looking demons behind the store. One seems to be a blacksmith style character with a tube top. The other one seems to be more of a maiden serving witch type character, would be my guess, with a standard dress. Monsters can only equip weapons from the monster only weapons category. It is best to equip a weapon that suits a character's inherent strengths. Okay. So we have Ryan, which maybe that's a guy, and we have Kasumi. An odd combination here between English and Japanese names. Bell Depot, welcome to the Rosenqueen Company Netherworld branch. We here at Rosenqueen work hard day and night to offer a selection of merchandise that customers want. A selection is constantly changing. If you don't find something you want, try coming back at a later time. Please take your time. So we have like 300 HL, which I don't know what the L part stands for that. I assume the hell. The H stands for hell. There's the defense ever so slightly. And then we have baseball equipment for protectors. Now, protector here has a defense of 8, a pop of 3 out of 6, which I don't know what that means, and a resistance of 1. But then you have one here that's an HP of 3 and a defense of 6, a pop of 2, which this inherently, I think, implies that this also one has some kind of bonus. Yeah. So you would have to probably know a lot of stats here if you were going to do this. And from my guessing, I suspect what this really comes down to is either you're going to have a lot of different characters you collect and potentially play as, or you're just not going to really care much about any of the items or anything like that, and you're just going to move forward as quickly as possible through the game, which I wouldn't be surprised if that is exactly the case. Weapon shop, welcome. I suggest you equip weapons that are well suited for each character. If you equip a warrior with a sword, his level of weapon mastery will quickly rise. You can have characters use weapons that are not best for them, but their weapon mastery will rise at a slower rate. Regardless of a character's ability, with a sword, the sword special technique cannot be used unless a sword is equipped. It's best to focus on each character's speciality to start with. Interesting. So here we have a wristband for marksman. Here we have a rock fist for marksman. Here we have a common sword for physician, one for a dietitian master. Here we have one for a coach, one for a gladiator. I'm wondering if some of these things are mistranslated. Okay. Have you saved yet? When you want to save, press Y and open the menu, select save. You can only save in the Overlord's castle. Once you're entered an area map, there's no turning back, so be careful. Alright, so that's the gateway to exit the castle. You have a character named Amy. This is the Item World Gateway Center. It's not open yet. Alright, so we're going to have more stuff going on. Yeah, it does seem like there is kind of a large collection of characters. And compared to like the Shantae series, which is more of a platforming game, not all of them are being depicted as just the same type of character. In Shantae, it was very large busted, small hipped belly dancer characters, large thighs characters. Here we have Zombie. Eat, sleep, and do anything you want all day. It's so good to be a demon. Have you ever thought of working for me? Haha, of course not. Some of these characters seem like they're reasonable that they would join your party fairly early in the game, while some of these seem like they are ridiculously high level, so you're either never going to get them to join or they're never going to fight them, and they're just being given random stats for just completion's sake. There seems to also be a fire, wind, and ice mechanic. Okay. Then we have Ethel, which looks like a Shinto priestess. And again, showing more skin than your average Shinto priestess. But it's hell, I suppose. Tutorial. Welcome to the Netherworld Hospital. Here we'll treat your wounds and heal any and all damage you may have taken. Hospital, interesting. I would have definitely called that a Shinto priestess outfit. That maybe she does healing spells. We will of course charge you accordingly. You can earn prizes based on the total HP and SP that have been recovered, so please go get thrashed in battle. So apparently we could heal some characters, but we're not there to that point yet. Here we have another dude. Deception. The assembly is currently not in session. I imagine you're trying to collect a whole bunch of these. And here you have what looks like a slightly chunkier character. The Bonita. Tutorial for beginners. There are many features in this game like the Dark Assembly and the Item World. Ask the appropriate people for more information. Don't worry, you can still beat the game with minimal knowledge. That is nice to know, because that is definitely the experience I'm going to try and have here. I'm going to try, on average it says it takes a person to play 45 hours to just play this game, and you're closer to 100, if not 250 hours to be a completionist. And I imagine 45 hours will probably be about 15 hours short of what it takes me to play this game. Here we have a save shop character, just name save shop. I keep the Netherworld's records. Here you may view the history of the Netherworld. If you get an item, it'll be recorded and won't disappear even if you get rid of it. Though it's just a record, it might be useful to you as a guide. Records aren't worth any money or anything, but they can be fun. So how can you use my records depends on you. So what do you wish to do? So this almost feels like an extra feature that would have been added to the game in the optimized PC version, where you can see, like, here's a collection of weapons, and this gives us a decent idea to see that there's only 40 combat weapons. So we're not going to switch out weapons that much. Although we might, because between combat, sword, spear, bow, and gun, and axe, there's seemingly enough of a combination here. And then specific weapons for monsters. And then armor. I imagine there's 40 pieces of armor. Like, where that kind of breaks down to is, ideally, and probably not, but ideally within an hour you probably will get some new piece of armor for each category. Glasses, interesting. And then muscle. And then there's EX, which only has 8, and I assume the XXX stuff is just stuff you cannot possibly even get. And then use items. Let's see how many there are there. 32, and then special items is 7. So some of these categories are pretty good. The dark record just shows you, like, your playtime and other statistics. Friendly killed current probably means you can get some of your characters killed. Maybe that doesn't really matter so much. Then collection book. Here we have just almost like a description of every character. Style. So this is a warrior male. So I guess he isn't wearing, well, he basically is wearing a tube top. I guess maybe that's just, yeah, armor showing belly. And so apparently she's a female martial artist. Female warrior. And I guess this is a healer, the elf like characters. Oh no, that's a male healer. That's a female healer. Interesting, I would have almost certainly said that was a female, but okay. Then skull. And then mage. And then no pictures for what seems like a very large collection of other characters. Alright, well, I think we've done about as much as we can. Let's talk to Polly. Tutorial. I am the dimensional gatekeeper. I will input the coordinates for your desired destination, Prince, and you will instantly be transported there. Please select where you would like to go. And that makes this fairly easy too, because it means that at least in this first game they haven't bent over backwards to create an open world forest hub type area that you have to run through a lot and potentially fight low level creatures. Instead, we'll just jump to an area. Battle basics 1, bonus rank 1 times cleared, killed. There might be a lot of reason why you wouldn't want to play this. You can see his scarf is more of a cape, and he's shirtless otherwise, except for wearing bracelets.
Prince, we've got company. How convenient.
So if I hit Y right now, I can't bring up the menu. It's weird that the start menu wouldn't do anything.
Stray demons, huh?
Start just moves your story forward. So
Allow me
here you have
this.
Etna with her choker necklace with a ring around it and skull earrings. I thought the skull was on the necklace, but apparently not in this animation. And she has kind of a bat demon tube top and long leather arm bands, gloves. So, yeah, both of them have fiery red eyes and wild anime hair. She's almost certainly a succubus.
Maybe a little out of practice after your long slumber.
You're gonna miss a lot on timing if I don't hit A fairly fast.
Trainee squad.
One of the things that may have made this series
Your butts out here now!
is the idea of playing an RPG where you have a large army of characters instead of the standard RPG where maybe you just have a group of 5 characters. So how many printing are we gonna get?
Prince, what do you think of this pretty squad I hired?
Why is that blurred? I didn't turn on any blurring.
They're my loyal servants. They'll do anything I say.
And they fall over,
Sure about that?
and one's spinning, and the other is apparently patting his belly for best I can figure. She's like beating them into submission.
Does it make sense to beat up your allies before a battle? Anyways, I think we've made those demons wait long enough already.
It's an interesting idea too, that to be in a world where you may be inherently encouraged to beat up on your own characters. Right.
Hey, you're right. How nice of them to be so patient.
So apparently she has big hoop bracelets too. You'll definitely see where the animators' focus were in this remaster based on just how many different reaction shots have been animated for each character, and almost certainly you'll see a lot of Etna and less of lesser characters.
Yeah, that's considerate of them.
And it's kind of a Japanese macho thing that they're having you play as a male character who is a prince, who almost certainly will be the central figure of affection for many, if not all, the female characters in the game.
To show my
But their
appreciation,
real visual
I'll only
interest
beat them half to death.
Will be to depict the other female characters.
If I were you, I'd beat them all the way to death.
Kind? Stop that! That word gives me goosebumps! Damn it! I take it back! I'm gonna beat them all the way to death!
He's still a kid. So quick-tempered.
Here, she's saying out loud what she's thinking, which is probably for the better, as far as me not having to read things. I don't want a game like this to turn into a visual novel where I'm having to read things out loud, so voice acting is highly preferable in every scenario. Also worth mentioning that in Japanese, kids cursing, it's not the words they say, it's how they tonalize it and vocalize it, whether it's a bad word or not. So that gets translated very often to kids cursing or younger looking characters cursing, when really it would have not had that same impact in the original Japanese language.
It looks like carrying out my plan will be a lot easier than I thought.
It seems like Etna is definitely trying to stab you in the back,
You say
But-
something!
clearly she is also not powerful enough. Man, there's definitely a fetish here for skinny exposed midriffs, and it's not just like a belly button here. They are going for as much skin as possible with focus on folds and ribs potentially showing.
Oh, nothing at all. So, what are your orders, Prince? You do remember how to fight, right?
Tutorial basics of battle. Just in case you forgot, let me explain the basics of battle. Move the cursor over the base plant panel and press A to select the characters you wish to dispatch. Alright. So that moved without me. If you want to cancel an order to dispatch a character, move the cursor over the character and press B. And then this is a placement RPG. For example, if you press B here, you can cancel the action. So per turn, they're going to move towards the enemies, and if they come in contact with the enemies or get in front of the enemies, they can attack them. So there's a whole positioning strategy here. Now let's issue a command to dispatch a character. First, move him/her next to an enemy. So Laharl in the middle of these two, and select attack. Yeah. Each character seems to have a unique name. You've now assigned an action, however the character won't attack immediately. Interesting. Yep. This definitely feels like an old RPG, but just a lot of menus and options, where a more action-based RPG of modern time would speed this process up as much as possible. If you want to execute the actions that you've assigned, open the menu and select either execute or in turn. In this case, let's pick execute. So I bet you probably can't in turn if see the character. If maybe you can in turn and have them not attack, but then be in position to attack next time. See the character attacked. Assign actions Y, execute. Remember this. You'll be using it a lot. If you assign actions to multiple characters, they will be executed in the order that you assign them. Be careful, you can't cancel actions once you've chosen to execute them. After you're done issuing commands, open the menu and end your turn. It will then be the enemy's turn. They have to execute and in turn fairly next to each other. Here you can see they're doing a decent amount of damage. Ow, why do I have to be the one to do this? I'm the next Overlord, for crying out loud. No comment. That was an example of something not to do. Only an idiot would rush straight into the enemy alone. You made me do it. Characters killed in battle, like the prince here, can be revived by paying hell, I guess it is just called hell, to the castle's hospital. If all of your dispatched characters are defeated, the game will be over. So the basic idea is to gang up on one character and beat the living daylights out of him, huh? Exactly, Prince. Remember to use your head next time. You're the one who told me to do it. Team attacks sometimes occur when allies are positioned next to attacking characters. If several characters attack the same enemy in a row, a combo will result in greater damage will be dealt. If you want to know more, press Y and select help from the menu. Okay. Stage start. So first thing I want to do is, now that I have control again, go and see if blur was on. No. So I don't know why it was blurred. Alright, and your cursor, move around here, but there's kind of clearly nothing. So we'll send him out, move him to this location, and then send her to this location, and then send her to this location. We definitely have characters here. Send that location. Okay. Attack. That. Attack. That. Attack. That. Attack that. Attack that. And then So I'm gonna have to move him, I think, here. And then attack that. So that's putting everybody on the field. Which, yeah, we shall see how that works. I suppose. Execute. There we had a combo attack. And that worked fairly easily. And then I kind of, let's see. Apparently there's some bonuses one can get, but I guess it doesn't matter, it's just end of turn. Okay. Yeah, this is such a fast attack that, yeah, unless I'm supposed to attack my own enemies to toughen them up, which might be the strategy here. I'm not 100% sure otherwise what we're supposed to be doing. And I definitely am goofing around more than I think is probably necessary. Let's just go ahead and execute. So he gets a bonus when she's around. And so there is probably something close to getting a bonus in general for having 6 or 7 characters on the field at once. Although perhaps it was a waste to shoot out the 3 Darudes. Will they all get experience now, or is there just no experience at all that plays and happens? Yeah, and the edges are just blurred. More stray demons. There's a new character. How annoying, I wish I could just toss them. Well, why don't you? You can? Tutorial, lifting and throwing. For our ignorant prince, let me explain how the commands lift and throw. In situations like this where you're too far for your attacks to reach, put another character next to it. Pick up a character by selecting lift. That's a crazy idea. Hey, stop it, Etna. Then select throw, and you'll have a decided direction and distance too. Although you're next to the enemy. Throw. And oomph. See, that covered a lot of ground. Now you're able to attack. You can use lift and throw on both allies and enemies. Keep in mind that only humanoid characters can use lift and throws. Lift and throw monsters can't do it. By making good use of these commands, you can extend your attack range. This is very helpful in moving around on some maps, so don't forget it. There are other uses for the commands besides covering ground, like holding an enemy so she can't move, saving injured allies from danger. By the way, printies will explode when they're thrown, so handle them with care. Dude, you've got to be kidding. And if you throw an enemy at an enemy, there may be other fun uses to be discovered. Try experimenting. That's it, I'm gonna throw you next time. Oh, one more thing. A character will take damage if the throw ends and if the turn ends and he or she is still holding someone. Stage start. Alright, let's come over here. Back to the settings. Character filter. Map texture, we don't want to change that. Depth of field. Ah! So depth of field literally means that it gets blurry on the edges. So you don't want that. Alright. I want to know, though, we can switch to Japanese at any point. Is there something that will geo-effect on and off button, expansion button start? Seemingly there is no button at all, though, to let's see, what do we want to do? Yeah, it seems like there's no button to move the story forward. And so we may run into a scenario here where we don't particularly want to have all the characters outward, and I definitely feel already getting to a point where this might be one of the most quietest experiences that we'll have. Can't put it where somebody else is, I imagine. Right, so defend, 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 attack. She can attack. Interesting. Then we have a level up, which that sounds good. And we got the Japanese on right now. And they're taking like 1 damage, whereas the non-defending ones took 6, but I don't know if that inherently had anything to do with much of anything, because come on, move forward. So you can attack that guy. And then go ahead and attack that character. And then you guys go ahead and attack that character. The pattern here is weird because they can't attack diagonally. Why is this one not attacking? Did I run out of moves? I don't know. I don't know what the E on the top means. It doesn't inherently mean that they're programmed. That did 3 damage. That did 4 damage. Okay, move here. That time. And I think I have to end my turn. The guy moved around for apparently a backstab. This guy still seems fairly difficult to fight. I don't know if there's specific elevations. I guess E might mean that it's a better setup. Scenario where they're gonna work together. Okay. Can I go ahead and attack that? See if that's all good enough. So the question becomes, how many stages are there, and how quickly do these kind of stages start becoming something of importance? Or is this just a grind fest where every hour we'll do 4 or 5 stages to no real evolution? Like this really might just be a statistics game. Japanese, Asian people tend to kind of love the statistics in RPGs. I see a lot of Chinese RPG games where it's just screen after screen after screen of statistics, and people in the United States and America, and I imagine in general, are not super fans of math. Geopanels, interesting. These are geographical features that are attuned to the elements of the universe. Okay. We saw that there was a system like that. Crystallization of these elements result in geosymbols, like the one right here. Well, that doesn't explain anything, so let me clarify a few things. Tutorial GeoEffects. Let me explain GeoEffects, a system which will heavily influence battle. Well, something needed to. Take a good look at the colored panels on the area map. Notice the enemy boost 50% is displayed at the top of the screen. This means that when an enemy is on a blue panel, his or her attack and defense will be powered by 50%. That's no good for you, so it's wise to get rid of this effect. You might be wondering, where does it come from in the first place? Well, looky here. I just found an object labeled an enemy boost on a blue panel. That guy's the culprit. Interesting that the map spun. How obvious was that? The object is called a geosymbol, and as long as it is on a colored panel, all panels will have of the same color will be affected. Interesting. Yep. This definitely feels like a game that in modern time would probably be much better played on your daily commute to school or work. A lot of RPGs have gone that direction. That's where in part the Nintendo Switch has been able to be very successful and launch re-releases of a lot of old games. Let's toss it somewhere. Okay, so just gonna have him pick it up. with the lift. And then throw it there. Now everybody on the red panel, the enemy boost effect is no longer on any of the blue panels, but... Huh? The geo symbol is now affecting the red panels. That doesn't change much. Let's just destroy it then. Oh, before we do that, did you see the symbol with a triangle with a line in it display on the geo symbol status window? Remember that. Now it's time to attack. Go ahead, Prince. I assume this is gonna just hurt him. The red panels are now blue. Remember the blue triangle in the status window? That's what it's referring to. Destroying the blue geo symbols will turn all the panels which are the same color as the one it is on blue. Damage will be dealt to anyone standing on one of those panels at the time, so be sure to take that into consideration. No damage will be dealt if you destroy the blue geo symbol on a blue panel. No panels will change color either. You can build up a bonus gauge by changing the color of geo panels. If you are able to use what you've learned to destroy all the geo panels, then you'll receive a panel termination bonus. All of this relates to a term I used before, geo effects. That's pretty complicated. You're right, it is. It might be a good idea to start off by destroying only the harmful geo symbols. Nullifying all the panels is for experts who understand the concept of geo effects completely, and you're not one of them. What'd you say? Notice that we've kind of now, in the third level, already stopped seeing the new effects and dialogues within the reaction images. Not all geo symbols have negative effects. When you get a chance, you should try and take advantage of useful ones. Lastly, press the back button to turn the geo panel display on and off. So, there may be, relatively speaking, and this is definitely relatively speaking, let's see, L points and experience 50% higher for everybody on red. And then this is defense, which would change everything to green. This would change everything to blue. Experience to 50% higher. Okay, so I think the idea here would be to move to a red panel. It will turn off the geo effect for a second. And use the red panels. But can I use the red panels to then attack? No. So if I was going to apparently I can't lift. Okay. So I need to get a red panel. None of these red panels work for you. Well. So you put something here. Special. Blade rush. But no target. Red panel here. Attack. that character. Red panel here. Can't do anything. So actually, easiest probably to send out this over this way and have them. Like, I don't know how he's gonna move anything, but whatever. Move her to a red panel. And suppose it's probably still just useful to have all these characters on the field. But I think we probably will hit a point where it stops making any sense at all to do that. Yeah, and so each of these have an E, which I assume just means effect now. And I guess that ends the turn and just lets the enemy now decide to reposition itself, and we'll decide who we're going to attack and how going forward. Alright, let's see. Lift. Monsters can't lift. Ah, I forgot about that. Alright, so attack that. You attack. She can only get like certain clear shots apparently. Is that a red panel? Yeah, it is, so we can move that there. And then attack there. And we can move that way. And then attack that one. I think that's everything. I think it's fairly easy to confuse this whole issue. It does feel like there's a high chance I probably didn't attack with everything I could have attacked with, come to think of it. So I can execute again, so you don't have to do this all in one turn. Interesting. Right. I don't think any of those are right, so let's move this way. Attack that one. Who can we attack at the moment? That one. Move that here. And attack that one. Attack that one. Attack that one. Attack that one. And then execute. Not in turn. Okay. In turn. And yeah, I just don't think that there's probably enough of a reason to have the characters run around and break all the other things. See, it would be easy enough just to execute there and see if you win. So kill bonus gives us some more hell and some +7 XP. Apparently bonus gauge was at 0. I don't think they wanted us to actually try and break all of those. Oh yeah, I forgot we were in Japanese. I'm starting to get the hang of things again. Notice how in Japanese he probably said a little bit more than that, because that didn't sound like the subtle, brief Japanese sentences I'm used to hearing. That seems like he said maybe 2 or 3 things. Are you ready to request some allies at the Dark Assembly? There you get to create characters who will become your loyal pupils. So are these kind of like create your own Pokemon type ideas? Yeah, I can already tell you I like Etna's voice acting better in Japanese, but I won't play the whole game in Japanese. I'll turn it back to English after this scene, because that would just be annoying and it would mean I have to read everything out loud. I probably, since this is very anime looking, would prefer the Japanese voice actor of the prince also, even though often in anime the young boy comes off vocally as even younger than the visuals do. And he does seem like he is probably being voiced as a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more condescending than the English version. Loyal pupils. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Alright, let's go. Tutorial, the Dark Assembly. Welcome to the Dark Assembly. Here you can create characters as well as submit proposals. In order to submit proposals, you have to have energy known as mana. You can gain mana by defeating enemies. If you want, you can use mana you have right now to make a new character. A cleric might be useful for healing, while a warrior and a brawler might come in handy while attacking. If Prince Laharl makes the character, they will become his loyal pupils. Manage their growth carefully. So, interesting. It seems like we are, in that case, not just going to run through storyline elements to get us new characters. Seems like it is all built into the overworld. In a weird way, this does kind of make it then seem very much like the game. Let's see. Tutorial. The Dark Assembly, man, creating pupils. Let's see what promotion exam is. You'll be thrown in battle. Only the characters taking the exam may participate in the battle. Your rank will go up if you pass the exam. Your HP and SP will be restored. Also, SP probably being special points. As your rank goes up, you can present new proposals and more influential senators will attend the sessions. It's to your advantage to get senators with high influence on your side, but be careful not to upset them. For your information, the game will end. If you fail the exam. Don't push your luck too much. Interesting. How to win votes. If you're a true demon, this you will get your way by any means. First, find out the senator's opinion. Highlight the senator with a cursor. When the assembly is in session, this sounds very political. If the senators with high influence are leaning against you, try giving them gifts. They may start to like you. Wow, it almost sounds like a dating sim. Press A on the cursor while the cursor is pointing at a senator, and you'll be able to select a gift for him from your item bag. An influential senator's vote can be very valuable to you. Giving them something they don't want will make them angry. Give them what they want. The impression you make on a senator will carry over into future sessions, so don't be stingy with your bribes. Once you finish campaigning, press Y. It's like begin the vote or return to castle. You can choose to leave if you aren't confident of a victory, but the mana you've spent won't be reimbursed. Now let's say you've picked begin the vote. Even if they like you, they're still demons, unreliable. Don't expect them to agree with you all the time. But it's unforgivable to disagree even with after you bribe them, isn't it? In cases like that, select persuade by force. Once you've made a selection, you'll have to forcefully persuade all the dissenting voters to change their minds. Any supporters that you accidentally hit will reverse their votes, so please be careful. Of course, if all dispatched max 10 characters are defeated, the game will be over. If you kill an opposing senators, your proposal will be passed, but the senators killed will return in future sessions only to loathe you more, so prepare yourself. It's almost like a rivalry system. Okay, let's try this. So you have to summon the assembly, and let's see who has the most mana. Flonne does. So is it? But it basically has to be loyal to Laharl, doesn't it? Okay. Change name of the NPC versus change a character's name. Interesting. Display a list of senators. I guess there aren't any. Create a new character. Alright. So we can make a brawler. Humanoid. We could make a brawler female or male. We can make a private trainee. Explodes when thrown, handle with care. We've killed 12 ghosts. So would it be beneficial to have ghosts on your side? Not sure. It would be. Fairy. As far as a hobbit. Here. And then as red mage, green mage, blue mage, blue skull, green skull. Seems like different variants. Interesting. I think we probably need a healer. So do we want a male healer or a female healer? Seems like these stats are fairly random. But I think female. EEEBDES versus EEBDES. Same stats on that, where monsters don't have stats apparently, but other characters do. So yeah, this feels like a lot of work. Select the capability. So if we wanted an incompetent level character, it would need 10 mana, so we can only really get a good for nothing character. And do I really want to like bother with that? Nope. You can just hit done, and her name is Faith apparently, so it'll just automatically do that for me. Good, because I don't want to use a controller. Okay. And I think bonus -5 probably means I have to now remove 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like ideally, you'd want intelligence to go up. Let's see. Speed. Take 1 there. Resistance. There. attack. Alright, so we had to kind of balance it out there. Okay. And then seems like we're gonna see the same art for each of these characters. And I guess they will have pupils too, so there is a possibility that we should improve upon that. Kind of wish you could equip equipment at the moment, but probably not worth it. And 7 mana is not 10 mana, so that would be the next character we would want to create. So did we just create a character? Okay. Let's see. Status. We've got characters that need to be healed. So, and on status, we did have Faith as a new character. How much would the hospital cost? Oh, pathetic small amounts. So, no problem there. Hey Prince, have you gone to the hospital? You should make sure you heal up everyone after battle. Treatment may not be free, it costs HL, but please help us. Heal us too, dude. Zombie gave you 300 health. What was Amy's? See, the topography, geopanels, and geosystems change every time, so you may run into gaps in your path. Do not blame me if you enter without an item to escape. Giggle. Interesting. There's just like a whole bunch of stuff here. Alright, so we have probably a desire to increase attack more than anything. So let's see. If we were going to find something, we need to find something that increases the attack or intelligence a lot. Here we have one, for instance, for 220 that increases by 22 points, which seems like a massive amount. And probably do want to try that. Alright. So, if he has the common sword, his attack is 48. But then his defense and other things. This is kind of hard to figure out. Gladiator 3, Gladiator 3. Am I a gladiator character? If it's in the first place, you have 45. Everything seems to be the same, except for your hit goes to 31. Otherwise, you have, yeah, something about this. Alright, buy and equip. Or do we want something that would just increase things versus reducing things? Like, she has no weapons at all. so putting a weapon on her to increase her might be the best move. Let's buy and equip that. Apparently I can't buy and equip it. Why can I not buy and equip it? Oh, because of the monster only ability. Alright, well then. Witch's staff for intelligence? What if we were to equip the witch's staff to faith? Okay. I need to buy everybody armor, probably. And yeah, almost certainly all of these items are not going to go anywhere. Alright. Stealing Hand. Hit 23, 3 speed. Useful for thieves. Fairy dust as an item. I'm not looking for items, we're looking for, I guess, bulletproof vests are the only thing we can get. 13, the protector at 13. Like, this protector gives you defense of 13 is 92, where this is 220. Okay. If I did that in the second position, on top of the Imperial Steel, that would increase the defense to 33. Where? Here it would be 27. Here it would be 22. Here it would be 27. Here it would be 26. And here it would just be 13. Right. And then at a certain point, it might just be wiser to put intelligence increasing items on all characters, particularly our main character to start with. For cheap, anything that would increase intelligence even a little bit. Yeah, anything that can increase intelligence makes a lot of sense. Because one assumes intelligence equates to higher level ups, and getting even a few higher level ups will save the day. An open drink. Candy. I don't want temporary things though, I want permanent things. Alright, well, yeah, our customer ranked up. Then run back over here. And let's see if we can find some cheaper things, since we only have 150 that would potentially increase intelligence. Because I think that's probably about as good as we're gonna get, is can we find something that will increase intelligence? Wooden staff. Okay. Well, wooden staff would just increase the intelligence. She is a mascot class. So we're looking for teacher, physician, physician. And we don't have anything like that, so we'll just... Actually, I don't think we've got anything good here at all, because anything we swap the weapons with, you can only have apparently one weapon. You can't put a weapon in a different spot. Okay. Which that probably does lower the possibilities of anything really working. Like maybe we could increase one of these trainees completely. There we go. And you might as well just hold on to everything, oddly. And I don't know if there's anything. Oh, play music you purchased here as many times as you want. Music bought here can be used as the background music from Netherworld. However, you can only buy music that you've heard at least once. So explore Netherworld, listen to as many songs as you can. As a special gift, I'll give you this one free song. You can now listen to background music 09 Elegant Demon. Go out there and hear different voices. So, okay. I don't think we'd be spending much money around that. Still not sure what that switch did. And you can't just sleep to restore your health. That sounds like that would be a nightmare scenario. You can't take any of those weapons. Although that is probably an indication of the style weapons that you will do. Did we ever change the voices back to English? Yes, we did. Okay, so what did we have here? Save shop, which is not oddly the save shop. Help section. So neither one of these down here are going to be used that often, and probably this is going to be used fairly infrequently. It's a new demon named Virus who's been gaining strength. Never heard of him. Probably not one important. Okay. And so we could go to the item shop, or we could go possibly added Virus Castle to the list of available areas. It is it's fairly new, so I don't know how much about it. However, it's rumored to be a very able man lives there. What you gonna do, Prince? Should we take a peek? Definitely, I'll slaughter the master of the castle as the first step of becoming Overlord. Alright. So either I could choose the practice map on tutorial, which maybe would be grindy, or we have to move the story forward. And I don't think I really would want to go to the item world. Items which will occur. It's like interesting. So we could. What? It's showing me items, but so that was dietitian and physician. So common sword. And here we could upgrade carbate, potate, or Thomas, and none of them seem to work. All right. So there's some weird system here that I don't fully understand yet. The item world is the world inside all items. There are so many troublesome residents dwelling inside the item world that it might be best just to subdue them. Be careful though, some are quite strong. If you don't level up before facing them, you may suffer a humiliating defeat. To enter the item world of an item you have equipped, you must first unequip that item. Note you can't take that item with you because you are going inside it. Remember to equip something in its place. Okay. So it seems like there's a level up system for your items. There's going to be item drops. There's a level up system for your characters. Very all standard RPG elements, as it were. And seemingly we can just make as many saves as we want. Although I doubt I made any major mistakes so far. We've barely done the tutorial. And let's see, is there like rearrange? We could rearrange characters. We can see the status here. We can check the equipment of characters. I don't think there's anything else to do though. The start button still doesn't do what you would expect. Instead, it's the Y button. If this was a PS2 game, it's weird that it's the Y game for that. It would make more sense for the Y button to bring up a menu. Well, not really any time. It seems like there's really an opportunity here to have a second menu where saving and quitting, or in that secondary menu, probably a back button could be a quick save, and start could be a quick load for this type of game, because there is the possibility of some severe grindiness here. And we've been going about an hour and 40 minutes, and for an RPG, I think that's really the length of each episode as it is. So that's going to be it for this recording. So far, so good. There is a lot of possibility that this may just get boring and grindy, and I may rage quit a few hours into it, or just very softly rage quit. Or we may be able to just rush through the story and have a decent experience without getting overcommitted on an RPG, relatively speaking. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.